Welcome back to another episode of STL Real Estate Roundtable. I'm your host, Jaden Barr, CEO and team leader of Keller Williams Realty Chesterfield. And today I'm joined by a very special guest, Ryan Zimmer. Ryan, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Ryan, let's dive right in. What got you started in a career in real estate?
So I grew up in upstate New York, and my uncle was always in commercial real estate. He was the go-to guy, the tri-state area for McDonald's back in the day. So he did a bunch of real estate, and it was all commercial. So I thought that's what I wanted to do. Moved out here my senior year of high school, went to college, and I ended up getting a job out of college in intermodal transportation. Terrible job. It was my buddy's dad was the VP. He quit before I did. And then I met Russ Nolting, who was my teacher in college. And he kind of got me into the residential side. I was doing his social media and stuff, and he was always running and gunning. Like during class in college, he would be stepping out, taking a phone call, doing a deal, and then coming back in. And I think that was his last year that he taught. I went to MOBAP, so that was his last year that he taught. But that kind of got my feet dabbled. So whenever I quit my job in transportation, I got my real estate license. I'm like, what do I do? Like, I called Russ and got on with KW. I'm like, what do I do now? And then I joined forces with this guy, Damian Gerard, and I was on his team. So it was history from there.
Gotcha. And so how long ago was that? How many years?
So that was about 10 years ago.
10 years ago? Okay, cool. So it's been just smooth sailing every day since, right?
Yeah, totally.
So look back at your first year in real estate. Is there anything that stands out to you, or anything that you feel like helped you kind of grow your business and kind of get the plane off the ground, so to speak?
Yeah. So when I started, like, luckily I was on a team, right? So there was system, structure. Damien, he's a big part to my success. And what he was crazy about was calling from 9 to noon. And man, I would get hung up on so much. You were trying to make 60 calls an hour and set 1 or 2 appointments a day. And I would get hung up on so much, but like each no got me to a yes, that much closer to a yes. And so like that first year or two, I got really good at just accepting no and just keep pushing through it. So just having that, that's what's really been kind of the catalyst to like help my career. And now I still do that. Like my 9 to noon is blocked off because it's just been ingrained in my head for the past 10 years.
That's awesome. So consistency and time blocking.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So walk me through kind of like, what do you think have been other keys to success in your business so far? Because you built, it's pretty impressive, like what you've been able to build. So
yeah, my biggest thing, like I am the least salesy like realtor, and like that's how I break the ice with people when I'm showing them houses for the first time. I'm like, look, and I'll be with them in like the living room or something. I'm like, look, I'm not going to tell you like this is the living room, this is the kitchen. Like I'm here to walk through the house, and like I'll point some things out, but if you like it, I know it sounds cliche, and like the house, like it's a feeling, and I don't have to sell you on it. And my sales comes in when I'm selling your offer, or when I'm getting the other agent on my team. That's where my sales comes in. But building those like small little wins with your clients, and then just stacking those, kind of over the years. And I've had repeat clients that have bought, in 10 years that have bought 4 or 5 houses with me, which has been incredible. So
yeah. So trust.
Yes.
Communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. You mentioned, winning the other agent.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think agent to agent relationship is so huge in this industry. I say St. Louis is like the biggest small town you'll ever find.
Absolutely.
And it's a very small community, and especially whenever there's relatively few agents doing a bulk of the business, right? You're going to run into the same agents over and over. So you got to build a great reputation.
100%.
And regardless of the color of your signs.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So,
true.
agent to agent relationship is huge. So talk me through that process of like winning the agent. Like, what does that look like?
So I always try to have the smoothest transactions, but like my biggest thing is like I want to get that other agent on my team because although we're representing our clients, our goal is to get the house sold at the end of the day. Like, and if you get the other agent on your side, you have a smooth transaction. That agent remembers that for the next deal. So if you're competing against 8 other offers, they're like, "Oh, Ryan Zimmer, I just had a deal with him last month, and that like it closed. If there were problems, you know, like communication, like once there's a problem, I'm very proactive on it. Like if I know something's coming up, I'll hit up the other agent, and be like, "Hey, look, this might be coming down the line," instead of being reactive and like not answering my phone or trying to figure it out. Cause I hate that. I've dealt with agents that way that like they don't answer the phone and you're like, I know something's wrong. But if you would just tell me, we could figure it out. Like we could find a solution. So I think finding solutions and bringing the other agent in to help you find the solution has been huge with me. Versus like I'm one of those agents where I never kill a deal. Like I will do whatever it takes like to like figure out, okay, if this deal's dead, great, whatever, we'll move on. But like let's exhaust every avenue before that.
Go down every rabbit hole. Let's try to figure this out. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. So what, I think every agent, regardless of, how successful you are, I think we all go through challenges and different obstacles in our business as we grow and as we evolve and, priorities shift over time. I know like, mine, whenever I had my daughter, it's like, okay, like I want to spend more time at home. So how do I still grow my business while, having leverage and things like that so that I can be more present at home, like different things like that. So, what are some of the challenges or obstacles that either you're currently working through or have worked through and, have kind of, been markers of your business as you've grown over time?
Yeah. So I have 3 kids under 6. I've
Tough.
got a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and like a 14-month-old. So family time is really important to me. And normally during family time is when we tend to be the busiest. So what I learned, and I learned this like on my second kid. First kid, we were like trying to survive and like just figure things out. Like you don't know what to do. But I learned how to like, not pick up my phone at certain times or like set boundaries with clients. Like, hey, look, I'm not going to be available from this time to this time. So that's really helped me kind of take back my time, especially with my kids and, with my wife. It's really hard when you're in real estate because on the weekends, on holidays, like whenever people aren't busy and they're off work, we're working.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like, I mean, I'm still bad about it, like on vacations. Like I feel like anytime we go on vacation, when I go out of town, that's when your phone just starts ringing off the hook. But I brought my sister in, my older sister, Ashley, I brought her into real estate this last year when I moved over brokerages. So it's been kind of nice because when I go out of town, I'm like, hey, this client wants to see this. Can you go? And so she's been learning the ropes, trying to get her business off the ground too. But I think just learning how to set expectations with people has really been my biggest accomplishment over the years. Cause I was always a yes man. Like if someone's like, hey, can we go see this in an hour? I'd be like, yes.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I'll call, like if it's a hot property, I'll be like, all right, I'm going to text the agent and see like, hey, can we go see this tomorrow? Like, do we have time? So then, I'm able to like take back my time and not be at everybody's beck and call. So
yeah, that's phenomenal advice to every agent out there, right? Set expectations, and that's great. That's great. So, as far as like changes in the industry right now,
yeah,
there's a lot of changes happening. We won't have to dive into the Maris changes, but
oh my gosh, it's like that's like the realtor thing. If it isn't broke, well, why don't we fix it, right?
Yeah,
it's like
right. We don't have to dive into that, but kind of like how have you navigated the changes that have come up in the industry, and like what do you think has what advice would you give to other agents in navigating change? Because I think change is constant, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's the one thing that is constant is change.
Yeah.
Things are going to change.
Especially in our industry. Like there's always disruptors that are going to try and come in. Everybody thinks AI is going to take over agents. I mean, you have to develop your like your purpose, and then also show your client, show your clients value, because there's always 10 other agents, right? Like if you go on a listing appointment, chances are they might have talked to 5 other agents. But if you show value through your process, what you provide to them, and then your proven results, like you're going to beat out your competition 99% of the time. And then just like you have to be resilient, especially in this market. Like my business, because I got in 2013, and I kind of steadily increased over the years. And then I feel like once COVID hit, my business like shot up. And then 2023, it kind of dipped down a little bit. 2024 shot up. 2025 is a very good year. So there's years. You always have to think, what you're doing now results in business 90 days from now, versus being caught. Like if you're super caught up, like, oh, I've got 10 deals next month. Great. But you're not doing anything to like build that pipeline back up. You know what I mean? Your income goes like this. Like you want your income to go like that and not like this. Cause I've been the years where I'm like, how am I making all this money? But I'm broke the next, you know what I mean? Like you're like, wait a second.
How does this work? Yeah.
Cause you're living off last month. You're like, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, I mean, you have to plan, like, and you always have to think, like, you just always have to be proactive in our industry, because we're 100% commission. You eat what you kill, and tomorrow is not promised. So.
Yeah. There's a great quote. It was, "Do you want a great year or a great career?"
Yeah.
Which goes right in line with what you're saying, right?
100%.
The work you do today shows up, 60, 90 days from now. And if you don't like where you are today, then do some work today, because it's going to show up down the road.
But that's the coolest thing about our business too, is like if you're W-2, you can't just go out and sell a house, go out and get a quick sale. Like I've got flippers where like something will come up that I'll hear of and we'll close in 7 to 10 days. And like that wasn't on the radar, the past 60 days. And like if you're W-2, that can't happen. With being 1099 and being an agent, you can have a start to a month where you're like, wow, I'm at zero, and then end the month where you're like, oh, I just made 50,000.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
Right. And it's funny with like, some clients, it's like, you have the consult and then you're out seeing properties that weekend, and then you write the offer that first weekend, they go under contract, and it's like 30 days. And you're like, I mean, that was amazing. My ROI on my time is incredible. And then there's other clients where you're like, okay, we've been seeing houses for 3 years and still have not gone under contracts. I think it all balances out.
Yeah. My longest client, 7 years. They would kind of tour properties first. They'd drive by them, and like, I'd maybe show them like 1 or 2 homes a year. And we finally find them a house that's like perfect for them. And we're down in the basement, and the husband, like, he would always try and find something wrong with it. He's like, yeah, I don't think my ping pong table is going to fit down here. And I look at him and I look at his wife. I'm like, do you play ping pong? And he's like, no, you totally got me. I'm like, all right, let's buy it. And they end up buying that house.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, where did that even come from?
That's awesome. That's great. Okay. So as far as like, your ideal client, like what do you think makes people want to work with you, other than, you're the least salesy salesperson on the planet?
I provide value. Like I get back to you quick. Like if you text me, I'll get back to you. If you call me, I'm going to answer the phone. I know the market. I deal with a lot of agents too that will tell me about properties prior to coming to market. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is like showing your like not just sending your client properties that hit the MLS. When you can say, hey, look, do you have a neighborhood that you specifically want to be in? If you do, I'll go knock on every door. I'll get a door slammed in my face. I'll target those neighborhoods. Like, we will actively search for the house you want. And then the list side, right? Like, whenever I'm selling properties, like, I don't just put in the MLS and just let it go, right? Like, I'm targeting, like, if you're going to be selling a $600,000 house in West County, your buyer's most likely going to be somebody that's stepping up from a 250 or 350 house. So let's target those people instead of your neighbors, right? Like, we want to target those neighborhoods and get your house out there versus your neighbors that drive by your house every day.
Yeah.
So
awesome. That's awesome. What do you think have been some of the biggest lessons learned over the years in building your business, growing your business? And
number one, I like to be liked by people. So I've only had a handful of clients that I will probably never work with ever again. So kind of like determining who you want to work with is really, it's powerful. Like, if you see something going side, like if you haven't been in a deal yet and a client's being unrealistic, when you have the power to be like, I don't need to work with you, or I don't want to work with you, or you can fire a client, which I've only done that once, but it was like best feeling ever. And they ended up coming back to me, and they've sent me like 8 or 10 friends. But it's just like, whenever you have values and, you can portray those to your clients and they respect you, like, that's been the biggest game changer. When your client respects you, when they know that you know what you're talking about, they trust you, And like, for me too, like, when you tell somebody like, hey, I don't think you should buy this, or like when you can point things out that are not good with the house, or like just something is off, and you say, hey, look, I don't think you should do this. Like, that gains their trust even more. And like, I treat every client I've got, I sold in the last 10 years. I haven't updated my website, but I think I've had 275 clients, and spent about 150 million. I mean, they're like family to me. I do client events. I sponsor my college, or my college lacrosse team. Every summer we play summer ball, and
awesome.
So yeah, I mean, it's just getting out there, in the community has been amazing for me.
Yeah, you mentioned getting out in the community. So like, what's the split of your business? Like, where does it come from?
So I do some pay-per-click, which is very small now that I'm just solo, but a lot is past clients, and then SOI. So, but like, my past clients have been kind of the backbone to my business. Like, the last 3 or 4 years, my past clients have probably been a good 45% of my business. And then SOI, friends, family, they've probably been 25%. And then the rest is like pay-per-click, or like somebody calling me on a sign call or something like that. So, and I like that so much more than just constantly shelling out thousands of dollars a month to, meet people that you don't know, which I love meeting people, but it's so much better when you have somebody that you already have that rapport with, or that they introduce you to their friends.
Yeah. You don't have to convince them to want to work with you.
Exactly.
They already have that reputation built.
Yep.
They know, like, and trust you. Yeah. As far as like the growth of your business, you mentioned, had an explosion during 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Would that have been the year? Did you start off naturally with your buyer-based business, and then has it transitioned to more listings, or kind of what's the evolution of your business been on that side of things?
Yeah, so I started out as a buyer's agent when I first got in the business, and then probably like 2018 is when I started doing listings and buyers, because I talked to the team leader like that I was at before, and we had like a designated listing agent that we had to send all of our listings to. And it was not like, your clients trust you. They don't like the handoff, right? And so like I told them like either she goes or I go. Like I want to service my own clients. And so in 2018, that's when everything and like our whole team, we as buyers agents were able to do our own listings. And that really catapulted our team. And that really helped my business take off too. So I was real heavy buyers, but now I'm probably like 70-30, where 70% listings, 30% buyers. Mm-hmm. But yeah. And like back in the day, I don't know when you got in the business, but back, I'm pulling it back in the day. Like I would send my buyers 20 or 30 listings. I'm like, hey, pick out your top 10 or 12 and let's go see them. Now I'm like, hey, we've got 2 listings to see. Let's go there.
Let's go look at both.
Yeah. Like it was not always like it is now. Like you had like I would show a client maybe 50 homes before they would, buy a property. So I feel like getting in the trenches back then and having to go through all that makes you appreciate the market now.
For sure. What do you mentioned your system for time blocking, for lead generation. What does that look like for you? I know you mentioned you have specific time set aside for it, but take us through a day in the life.
Yeah. So usually I get to the office like around 8:30, 9 a.m. and I have a CRM. So I've got all my contacts and it shows, I've got my hots. My hots are like people that are going to buy within 30, 45 days that are actively looking or getting ready to sell. And then I've got my watching who I've contacted, but they're not like qualified yet.
I'm ready.
Yep. Yeah. And then my qualifieds, I've had a conversation with them. So I always start with my hots, just pop in, check in with them probably 2 or 3 times a week if we're not out at appointments. And then I just start dialing for dollars with my watching, or I'll look at expireds. And then I do that from about 9 to noon. And then I try and schedule all my appointments in the afternoon. So that now obviously things get in the way, but I try to block out that time as best as possible. Mm-hmm. And then usually I get done around 4 or 5. Some days it's earlier, some days it's later. And then the evenings, hang out the fam.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a big challenge, especially for like top agents that are selling a ton of real estate, is like, you're kind of always on.
Yeah.
So I think going back to what you said earlier, of like setting expectations, setting boundaries with clients, and having those real conversations with your spouse too. That's like, hey, like I'm working on this. Like it's going to be a work in progress, because I know that's something that I'm still navigating and figuring out how to just put my phone in another room, set it down, like, and not be. I mean, I think we're all addicted to our phones, one way or another, but yeah, it's definitely a work in progress for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Anything else you want to dive into here?
Do you have any deals that you can specifically remember since you've been selling real estate? I'm curious if you have any that like went so far south that you're like, I'm never going to deal with that agent again. I've got those buyers and sellers. We're going to put them on the, on the do not call list.
Yeah. Yeah. One came to mind right away, and I don't know if I want to share it. I will share an interesting, like, I think it's a fun question to ask, of like, what's the most interesting thing you've seen on a showing?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really an interesting thing that I saw, but it was like a just odd situation where if like we go in the house and if you can tell it's an occupied house versus a vacant house or a staged house, right? So if someone's living there, and it was clear that the sellers were still in the home,
which is awkward.
But we had a confirmed showing, right? And we walk in, and anytime that's the case, I always say, hello, realtor, like, we're here, right?
Knock,
so
knock.
Yeah, we're here. So I was like, but I just had this weird feeling, like, I don't know, I just instincts, I don't know, intuition or what, but we're like walking through the whole house. We walk outside, we walk upstairs, bedrooms, everything. And we go down the basement, and there's like one door that's shut still. And I'm like, it's weird. Like, why is that door shut? And I say like, realtor, like, hello. Like, I slowly creak open the door, and like there's like a girl just like sitting on her bed. She had like headphones in, but she was so spooked, like terrified. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm a real estate agent. We're here on a showing. So we got it all worked out. But that was like just confirmation. Like, anytime you go into a house that is clearly occupied,
Oh yeah.
make sure people know you're there.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a for sale by owner showing one time, and like the one owner was like walking us through, and we get up to the primary bedroom, and I'm there with my clients, and he's showing us through the house, and all of a sudden his wife walks out in like she just got out of the shower. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's be. And she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, you're the one showing us the house. You're walking us through your house. Would you not warn your wife?
Oh my gosh.
My clients didn't end up buying that house, not because the view, it just wasn't a good house. But yeah, that was probably one of the most interesting shadows of mine.
Yeah. I think it's like every realtor's been there where like the lockbox doesn't work. You look like an idiot on the front steps. You're like, oh my God.
You ever have to like update your super key and you have zero, like there's
no service?
Yeah, there's an area off of Bope where there's like,
Yeah.
it's an absolute dead zone. Like Crystal Lake Park is a dead zone. And there was one time, like a Saturday morning, I was going to show a property to one of my friends, and my super key would not update. I'm like, I'll be back in 5 minutes. I had to drive all the way down Bope to Manchester to update and then drive.
Yep. Been there. Like, you drive home with the key in your pocket, you realize as soon as you pull in the driveway, like,
that's the worst feeling.
Yeah. That I had one time where I think I had locked myself out of the house, like, and luckily, like, I like jumped a fence and like the back door was open, so I was able to like get in, right? But yeah, day in the life.
Do you remember the COVID days where like agents would lock the door behind them and like wouldn't allow you to show it until their time was totally up? And like I was never used to that because like I was used to like stacking showings.
Yeah.
And then there were a few agents during the COVID days where they would not allow you in while they were in there with their clients.
Yeah.
And it was the strangest thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Other interesting things is like dogs or cats like in the house, like while you're showing.
Oh yeah.
Super interesting. Okay, so back to the real stuff. So what, as you look at the business that you built, what are you most proud of?
Most proud of where I started out to where I am now. Not thinking I could, like, I always envisioned where I could be. And I'm still a huge work in progress. I want to see myself on that, like, top 5 on that ranking report. But I think one of the ways I have to build a team. But very proud of, like, instead of working a 9 to 5, I get to have, sometimes I get to have breakfast with my kids and going to work at 11 a.m. on days where I'm not super busy. So I'm proud of like how I'm able to provide for my family now versus just working a job I don't like.
Yeah.
Every day is different in real estate, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. It's a huge testament to like any agent that, has built a successful career, in this industry. Like, give props to that agent because it's a lot of work, a lot of behind the scenes, unseen hours of just to build a successful business with real estate. It takes so much work, right? And that's something that a lot of people in the general public, I don't think realize, right? They think it's just, oh, you're just opening doors. No, it's not the case, right?
Do you ever get the, when you're around family or something, they're like, oh, so-and-so would be so good in real estate because they can talk to people.
Yeah.
Or what? Like,
right.
So yeah. But real estate is very rewarding. It's very exhausting. It's very, every day you think something's going great and it can like totally be flipped upside down. And then by the end of the day,
back.
Yeah. Like there was one time where I went to one of my best friend's weddings in New York, and on the flight out there, I lose $2.5 million in deals. And then like the whole weekend was like, I'm like trying to figure out how to like, salvage these. And then coming home on the flight back, all of them get back under contract. And I'm like, that was the most stressful weekend, which was supposed to be a fun weekend, but it all worked out.
Yeah. Yep. You talk about a little bit of like kind of like envisioning where you want to be. Like, what is the vision for your business? Kind of maybe a year from now, 5 years from now. Take it out as far as you want to go.
Yeah. So my 5-year vision is, I want to have a few agents under me. I don't want to grow a big team or anything like that. But I would love to have a few agents under me to where, I can kind of step back a little bit, help them grow their business. Really want to build my sister's business up, and I want to start, flipping houses, getting into the buy and hold. I have a lot of clients that I help, with finding them flips. So I want to get more into that realm. And I think that's doable. So, and then who knows from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Last question here as we wrap up. What's been the most impactful book or podcast that you've listened to or read?
So the most impactful book is probably Think and Grow Rich. And your boy Russ Nolting was the guy that turned me on to that. Started turning me on to the Think and Grow Rich. And then what was the KW, the $1 Million Agent?
Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Millionaire Real Estate. He had me read that. But yeah, I mean, Think and Grow Rich, like just putting things, like the way you talk to yourself, like your self-talk has so much to do with your attitude, where you're going to go. Like if you can see it, if you believe it, I know it sounds super cheesy and cliche, but like the more you see yourself doing something and you want to be your future self, you end up becoming that person. So yeah, that's been the most impactful book for me.
Yeah. Do you know Ryan Serhant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's got a book, Salt Like Serhant, and then Big, I think it's called Big Money Energy or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but he talks about how he has a picture of himself, like it's like one of those generated photos of what he's going to look like 30 years from now, right? So his old self, he carries around in his pocket, and he thinks about like anytime he touches it of like, how would future Ryan behave today, right? And so he puts himself in his basically like future tense self shoes often, to where like, why don't I just be that person today?
Yep.
Right. If you have a vision for yourself of what you're going to, what your business is going to look like 10 years from now, why don't you just behave like that today? Right. So I think it's a good kind of like mind trick of like forecasting or, believing in who you're going to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome, Ryan. Well, thank you so much for being here. Really enjoyed the conversation. I know everybody watching is going to get a ton of value from it. And, you got a business that I definitely admire and respect greatly. So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you on the next episode. Yep.